Well, hello everybody, welcome back to Camping Colders Workshop. I have an admission to make that I deleted the old part 3 of my Vruzend battery review accidentally off YouTube, and then I'd found that I deleted the original, so I'm having to make a new one to replace the old one, which I made somewhere around early mid 2002. So I'm just going to update what's happened with the battery since then. Anyway, if you want to know how I built this Vruzend battery, go to part 1, and if you want to see the climate control system I built for it, go to part 2. So yeah, what I'm going to do then in this case is I'm going to review the battery as a whole in the second part of this video, and I'm going to review the BMS and also how I'm going to build the new battery that I'm building at the moment. So I'm going to have 2 of these batteries, as battery 2 will be the same as in battery 1, video 1. Okay, so the issue I've had that I want to go into, there's 2 issues actually with the battery itself and what was supplied. The first issue I've had on long-term test is that the battery itself started to crack. So you can see here that there's a crack that I repaired. That would have been probably a year ago I had to repair that, something like that. And you can see that there's quite a few of these actually where I've had to repair something very similar like that. Now what I hadn't noticed is something interesting is happening at the back here. You can see there's another rupture starting to appear there. So I'm going to put some gel on this, super glue gel, see if that does anything. I mean, I was hoping to reuse all of these, but obviously I'm not. I have got some left from the previous build, and obviously the new battery as well. I'll have some left. Can't see that. There you go. I've got some caps left, so I'll be able to replace some of these. Right, well I've just flipped the battery over, so you can see, if I zoom in, quite a few nasty looking cracks in there. I've already put some super glue on these. There's 1 or 2 I haven't put super glue on. So as I said earlier, I'm using super glue gel to just try and stabilize these. I realise that it may not be any good at all, but it's better than nothing. Obviously I'm not, having looked at these now, I'm not going to be able to reuse any of these caps, because most of them, particularly the orange ones, it seems, are broken. There are some black ones as well that are broken. It may be that I can't see those as well, but I'm thinking actually, just looking at this one, I'll just pan out. Looking at this one, I think you can probably see that it is actually mainly the orange ones that have cracked. There's a particularly bad one down there. I'll just do that one as well. Yeah, so I'm pretty sure that that is the case now, having looked at it. It's more prone, the cracking, with the orange version. So that's obviously got something to do with the process that they went through to make that orange. But yes, on this side, hopefully you can see there's hardly any black caps that have broken. Bought a new identical Vruzend kit. I did try and get their version 4, but they've not had any in stock for a long time, so I've had to use the version 2.1 again, same as this. So this is the new cap set that I bought, and this is the old one. So hopefully you can see they're basically the same, so I'm expecting possibly more cracks like this in it. I didn't bolt down anything too hard, because otherwise you would see where the bolts were digging into the bars there and they'd be making an indent, but they're not, which means that I haven't over torqued these bolts. So that I don't think is responsible. I haven't over torqued the actual block assembly bolts, which are these screw bolts here. I've been very careful with those as well, not to over tighten them. So I'm thinking it's not what I've done is causing the issue. I also did put Kapton tape around the middle of this battery, if you were wondering where it was, and I put some ventilation holes in it as well. But I actually took the original off because I thought I was going to deconstruct the caps of this battery, but as it is, I'm not going to bother at the moment, so I've just put Kapton tape back on the center section. Got plenty of insulation in this box, and if you go to video 1, you'll see I put plenty of insulation. And in fact, this battery unit's got plenty of insulation on my mobility scooter as well, because that's also got suspension underneath this battery, so it's not getting shocked in any way. So yeah, so there is an issue, but as I say, I've had to buy version 2.1 again, and we'll just have to go with that again, because I can't get anything that replaces this kind of size and system that I want in terms of a battery block. I can't find anything. Okay, so that's the first issue that I've had with cracking and gluing, and not a great look, I have to say. Okay, so we'll go and have a look at the other battery that I'm building now, and also the BMS. I've had a little think about this, and what I'm going to do on the build of the next battery is I'm going to use all my black caps that I've got from the 2 batteries that I've built so far, and I'm going to integrate those into the new battery. So from my findings, the black ones have a less of a chance of cracking, so that's what we're going to do, and at least that will some way help the issue with this new battery. Okay, so we're at the 2 batteries now, what I would call the old and the new. The batteries that I'm using in the new one are exactly the same as the ones I used in the old one, which are these Samsung's 300 milliamp 20 amps, which were quite hard to get hold of actually this time. So overall, these batteries have done very well. They've been through 15 months now roughly of work, and the battery's obviously losing some of its longevity, and that's getting quite a bit more noticeable now. But there was 4 months of intensive use of this battery in 40 odd degrees, so you know, I've got the best. I certainly think it's done very well, and that's why I've rebought a branded battery as well. So both Samsung battery powered units here. So yeah, so I'm very happy with the battery choice that I made. And the second issue I had actually with the battery itself, or the kit, sorry, not the battery, was the BMS, and I bought 2 Vruzend supplied BMSs, a 20 amp and a 15. I think originally I fitted the 15, and after about a month of using this setup here, it just stopped charging. So I replaced it with a 20 amp, and the same thing, the battery wouldn't charge. I tried different chargers, I checked the chargers, and everything was okay. I just wanted to mention what it was I was actually doing during the interim, as where I didn't have a BMS available because both of them weren't working. So what I had to do was stop being a responsible battery builder for a while, and I had to connect directly to the plus and minus and disconnect the BMS and charge and run the battery that way. So I bought a Vruzend supplied BMS, which is a 42 volt 5 amp one, but I didn't want to charge up to 42 volts because that's quite high actually, without any kind of management system on. So and 42.5 is the maximum really that you should be charging these batteries to. So what I did was I just simply put in my multimeter as the battery was charging. That's my charge port next door, just there, so nice and handy, and just kept an eye on the voltage level. So as you can see, it's quite well charged actually at the moment, and I kept it to 41, so I wasn't anywhere near the emergency overcharge. Okay, so that's what I did, but as I say, luckily everything's working now. Now of course, with the multimeter, what I did do as part of just initially checking the functioning of the BMS was to check the output, the input. I checked each row of cells to see what the output there was, and everything was standard. Of course, I checked all the connections, and when I reconnected the new BMS to the old one, I used the existing connection settings, as I said, and that wasn't a problem. It just started straight away. So if anybody can let me know what they think that was, but anyway, I'm not using those two original supplied BMSs, and I've been happy with this one. I bought a different type, which I'll do a link for on eBay. You can get these on AliExpress, I think. So this BMS has performed wonderfully, and once I replaced this one, I've had no problems with this BMS, and charging was fine. And so it did 4 or 5 months of very intensive activity, and it's been fine. So that system with that worked for me, and obviously I'll put a link in the description for that. You can see I've got, or I will have, this BMS in a box like this one here is in the box. So on this, I'm just going to build, and I might even look at my video one just to review it. I'm just going to build an exact same battery, exact same case. I've just noticed that I've actually got, amongst a few other things in the bottom of here, the plugs for the back, for example, I've actually got this battery, double battery pack discharger, which is not for this project, because as far as I can ascertain, although it's a very good thing that I would like, in that this module will split the draw from the batteries depending on how they're doing, from two batteries of a similar setup. It will do that for you, and obviously take the stress off both batteries in terms of consumption. However, I have read that this particular unit does not work with brushless motors, like my scooter motors. It actually just works with geared motors on e-bikes. So a hub motor, central motor on an e-bike. Anyway, so this is definitely don't use for this project, which is unfortunate, because I would have liked to have had a system whereby I could split the battery power and the consumption, and makes life easier on the batteries. Obviously, if anybody knows why exactly electronically I can't use that, maybe something to do with the mths setup, let me know. If you know of anything, any alternative that will work with a brushless motor, let me know. The warning I saw about this unit from a retailer was it would A, possibly make your battery blow up, and B, possibly make your BMS blow up. So that's the kind of warning that you might want to listen to. Okay, so that's it for this part 3. I don't think there's going to be a part 4. I might show you my scooter with all these 2 battery upgrades on, see what you think. But that's it for now. So thanks for watching. See you soon. Bye.